Oh, we got more. You're not going to want to go anywhere for this show. This was never a legitimate operation, neither criminal nor counterintelligence. It was always an effort to stop President Trump from being elected, and when he was elected, to sabotage his presidency and lead to impeachment. Please tell me you understand that. The evidence that this is the case is now piling up dramatically. So remember, keep the headline in your head. This was never legitimate. It was always an effort to sabotage a campaign and sabotage a presidency. Everybody got that? Let's start laying out the evidence here. Let's go back to this New York Times article. And I want a hat tip at Thunder B on Twitter. Always attribution is appropriate. This is where I found some of these articles, and that's where some of these highlights come from within the article. So good job on that. Not enough people properly attribute that in this sort of space, in the content space, and I always hated that. It happens to us all the time. But follow this article, okay? This is a December 12th, 2016 article by Matthew Rosenberg at the New York Times. Michael Flynn is a harsh judge of CIA's role. Now, keep in mind what we're talking about here. This was a deliberate effort to sabotage the Trump campaign and the people involved in it. Why? Remember, Mike Flynn, Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, became an open advocate for Donald Trump about halfway through his campaign. And certainly by December of 2016, it was well known that Mike Flynn was going to have a role in the Trump administration. He was talked about as a VP pick. Remember that, Joe, for a long time?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
The only thing I think that stopped that or put a halt to that was his position on abortion at the time, which didn't comport with a lot of conservatives, me especially. And I think that's the only thing that really put a stop to that. But Mike Flynn was being discussed as a potential VP. So now we see, can you put up that headline again? Now we see this article comes out in December 2016 that Michael Flynn, who is going to be a prominent figure in this Trump administration if it happens, and is a prominent advisor to Trump during the campaign, is, quote, a harsh judge of the CIA's role. Now, these underlines, again, are at Thunder B on Twitter, but this is from the article. Here are some devastating quotes about the motive as to why the intelligence community and the law enforcement community, notably the FBI intelligence branch, why they had such a Love Jones, let's call it, for Donald Trump, and why they were like, we got to get this guy and his team, and we've got to stop them now. Quote from the New York Times article. This is Mike Flynn being quoted, talking about the CIA. They've lost sight of who they actually work for, Mr. Flynn said in an interview with the New York Times on October 15th. That's suspiciously hard to find right now, by the way. They work for the American people, the CIA, Flynn said. They don't work for the President of the United States. He added, speaking of the agency's leadership, frankly, it's become a very political organization. Mr. Flynn's assessment that the CIA is a political arm of the Obama administration. Listen to this. Let me read this again. Listen, again, we're getting to motive. Why? Why? We know they hated Trump. Why did they spy on him and his team in an unlawful investigation with no predicate? Despite what the IG report may have said. Mr. Flynn's assessment that the CIA is a political arm of the Obama administration is not widely shared by Republicans or Democrats in Washington. The swamp didn't like that, folks. But it appears to have been internalized by the one person who matters most right now, Mr. Donald Trump. The people who wanted to take Trump and Flynn out because he was a unique danger to them, their jobs, their careers, everything they'd invested in the intelligence community. The people who wanted to take him out were going to take him out no matter what. And they were going to fabricate the evidence later. In other words, they found a crime and manufactured evidence rather than the way it usually works, which is someone brings evidence of a crime, which leads to an investigation. This all went in reverse order. It was a constant effort to backdate, fill in missing plot holes, fabricate information where they couldn't find evidence, all because of what? They were going to conduct an investigation into Trump to spy on him and his team no matter what. The evidence was engineered later. I say reverse engineered because that's not the way any of this works. Now, showing you this was always an investigation in search of evidence. never evidence in search of a crime and then an investigation. They kept manufacturing this stuff as their motives, and the evidence failed to produce anything on these people. Let me give you a quick example. Again, hat tip to my buddy 279 here. The official story that we've heard, forgive me for repeating this, but it's important, from the FBI over and over, is the investigation started into the Trump administration because we received this tip from Australia, a friendly foreign government, about this meeting one of their diplomats, Alexander Downer, had with the Trump campaign official Papadopoulos, where Papadopoulos allegedly told Downer about Russians wanting to help their campaign out. That's their official story, the FBI. That tip allegedly comes in at the end of July. The investigation then starts July 31st. Wow, that's convenient, Joe. They got this tip. They opened up the investigation next week. What's not to love? Sounds right to me, right? And they say to double down, just to show you we didn't start this investigation because of this dossier from this guy, Christopher Steele, which was political. Just to show you we didn't even receive that stuff until September 19th. You got it? They built in their own alibi. We didn't receive the Steele information, Joe, to September 19th, and we opened the case on July 31st. So it's not even possible that political information from Steele laundered by Brennan's CIA had anything to do with this, because we didn't get it, the FBI, until September 19th. Is that really true? Well, again, let me put out the lead for you first. Again, proving this was a targeted operation against the Trump team that had no basis in fact. All there was sabotage the whole time. All of the stuff was built in and filled in later on. Let's show you this photo of the IG report first, because I want to show you some interesting dates, keeping in mind the whole time. The official FBI story is they didn't receive Steele's information until September 19th. Got it? Okay. Put up this from the IG report. This is fascinating. The FBI, quote, opened Crossfire Hurricane as a counterintelligence investigation, an umbrella counterintelligence investigation, that's important, without identifying any specific subjects or targets. Wow, that's kind of an open investigation card, and that's special. FBI officials told us they did not immediately identify subjects or targets because it was unclear from the friendly foreign government information, the Australia tip, who within the Trump campaign may have received a reported offer of assistance and might be coordinating with the Russian government. Again, that was only an excuse to spy on Carter Page, folks. That's nonsense. I covered that in a prior show. By August 10, 2016, remember the date, by August 10, 2016, the FBI had assembled an investigative team of special agents, analysts, and so, the Crossfire Hurricane team, and conducted an initial analysis of links between the Trump campaign members and Russia. Based upon this analysis, this is on August 10, 2016, the FBI opened up cases on 3 U.S. persons, Papadopoulos, Carter Page, and Manafort, all of whom were affiliated with the Trump campaign at the time the cases were opened. Listen to this. On August 16th, folks, just 6 days later, 2016, the FBI opened a 4th individual case on Michael Flynn, who was serving at the time as the Trump campaign's national security advisor. So they waited 6 days to open up a case on Mike Flynn? Or was this about Mike Flynn the entire time? Well, I don't get it, Dan. If Mike Flynn is the target, well, why open up 3 cases on 3 incidental figures they know aren't working with the Russians and then wait 6 days to open up on the guy they really want, Mike Flynn?
Mm-hmm.
I just answered my own question. Because that's the guy they really want. Look, shiny red object, squirrel.
Uh-huh.
Let's open up on these 3 first. That way, when we open up on Flynn later, it won't look like this was about Flynn the whole time.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.